Welcome to University, a podcast for young people navigating life's big transitions. I'm Emery Bergmann, your host. On University, you'll hear stories from college students, you'll get tips from experts, and occasionally you'll hear from a parent's perspective on how to manage this time of change in your life consciously. Find yourself, find your purpose, find your people, and pursue you fearlessly. If you're wondering if Greek life is for you, you might want to listen into this mini podcast with Emery Bergmann. In this episode, she shares the pros and cons from her perspective, why joining a sorority was so helpful to organizing her social schedule, and talks about this idea of being rejected and what she learned about rejection. So if you're on the fence, if you're questioning whether or not Greek life is for you, even if you believe Greek life is absolutely not for you, I think you're really going to enjoy this episode with Emery. So stay open, stay curious, and see what you might learn about yourself listening in.
The Greek life is like a whole nother thing. And then...
Yeah, I would love to, we're going to definitely be splitting our call up into a couple different podcasts because we have so much valuable information.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But the Greek life is such a big question mark for so many people. And
that's actually what I want to make my next video on, is Greek life.
Oh, good. Tell me about it. Like, what is your experience around Greek life? And what I'm hearing from some students is there's some schools you go to and you have to be part of Greek life if you're going to.
It's a necessity, yeah.
So
at Cornell, the school is huge. It's 11,000 kids. So like Greek life is very optional. It takes a certain kind of person. I think for guys, sometimes it feels like a bigger obligation than women. Okay, sorry, my friends are distracting me. Please go away. There's so many communities on campus that just don't need Greek life at all. Like, there's a huge outdoors community that I'm part of, and a lot of them like are in Greek life and are not in Greek life, but they have like a very, very close, tightly knit group of people there, and like that was like a completely another option. But so Greek life at Cornell is toxic and great at the same time. And I think that goes for Greek life in a lot of ways. I think that I found a group of girls that I resonate so deeply with. Like a lot of them really remind me from my friends from home. And that was like really exciting to find people like that. But at the same time, Rush was awful and probably like the worst experience for a lot of people I know. And like seeing girls just get like torn up and like crying, it was just so awful, and that was not something that I want to see people go through, or like I want to go through myself. But then in the long run, I'm really glad I did it, because there's a lot of like random positives that I didn't even know would happen. Like, it organizes my social schedule so well. Like, basically once I joined a sorority, they're like, you have a party this day, this day, this day, and you can go or you don't have to go at all. We're going to have a sisterhood event. Then that was like a totally like a huge plus that I had no idea was going to, like, having just like social events planned for me really like motivated me to go out and like to meet new people. And that was something that I never saw was going to happen. And also like, it's a huge positive in the sense like it's just a big community of girls who are like more than willing to support you. And that's like a huge, especially in a big school. It's just like having like that home base of like people who have just kind of like ride or die, because in a sense like they have to be your friend. Like people, you know, they don't have to, but in the sense that like no one really wants to cause drama. So, you know, being cordial is just like required. So I think that like that was like a huge deal, was just like having that group of people that I could just, you know, turn to in need, or just text if I like ever needed to, you know, get food or something.
Yeah, so built-in social community that people you knew were there for you.
Yeah. And I'm lucky because I like my sorority. A lot of people, you know, may join Greek life and join a sorority and end up in a sorority they're not crazy about. And that is, you know, just sometimes the way the cards fall. And my rush experience was really easy. Like I chose between two houses that I really liked, and that was fine. But I know a lot of people who it was just so painful, and girls really just, you know, can like lead you on and make you think that like, you know, you're having like great conversations. It is completely superficial, especially in those first 2 days of rush. Like it's just like very brief conversations, like very surface level. And the fact that they like make cuts and like make decisions on that, it can be so hurtful because you can feel like you have a great conversation with someone and then they'll just decide that you don't belong there. But
So
I kind of, yeah, and also what really was upsetting about it was that girls would completely just validate themselves based on like the sororities that asked them back. And that's so toxic. And it's just like, I knew so many girls who just dropped because, you know, the higher tier houses or whatever didn't ask them back. And and it sucks that that's like the kind of, you know, environment that it like perpetuates, that it's like you should only be part of a sorority if it's like a good one, a quote unquote good sorority. So I think
which is all subjective anyway.
it's all subjective. And usually, a lot of girls will say this, and when you're in the rush process, it sounds so stupid, but now I really do believe it, is that you will end up in the sorority that you belong in a way. Like, I mean, kind like yes and no. Like some people, like Greek life was just never for them. But basically, I operate under the assumption that if a house didn't ask you back, why would you want to go there anyway? Like, if they didn't appreciate you, then they're probably not worth your time regardless. And the house is,
It's that rejection piece, right? Because
oh,
everyone,
of course, it's painful. It's like college admissions. Like you sit there and you wonder and you're like, what could I have done better? Like what do
yeah,
I not have that they want? And what's also, it's like basically it feels like they're evaluating you based on your looks and your personality, and it's like, what else do you have to offer? um and it's just so, oh, it's so awful. And there's some random reasons people could be like, oh, like her older sister got into a fight with like my friend's boyfriend, so we don't want her. Like it's like could be totally random stuff that you just had no idea about. And like it could be extremely superficial, or it could just be like, you know what, I think she would do better at this house, or like I think that like our house, you know, needs more people like this person. And it is just, yeah, it's just like college admissions. It's random, and I don't, and
well,
it's just
it's so random. And I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
no, totally fine.
um, the one thing I can say retrospectively, looking back on my life, is all those places that, you know, you felt like the door closed on you, like you get fired from a job or kicked out of sorority, or you know, or you know,
Mm-hmm.
a relationship breaks up, or an end to something. Um, when I look back retrospectively, there's always been a gift in that. There's always been
Yeah.
another door that's open. And while that's really hard to be in that mind space in the moment it's happening, it's the truth. It's like when one door closes, another one opens. It's like a totally cliche thing to say. But if you focus all your energy on like, what do they want from me? What am I not doing right? You're putting your energy in the wrong place. And if you just go, oh, look, there's something new for me to explore. And that doesn't mean you don't feel your sadness around it or feel your disappointment around feeling rejected. It's just, this is what's happening. And how can I be with what's happening right now and not, you know, not make, you know, not break because of it.
Yeah, totally. And I think that was like a huge, I had picked a different sorority than the one that I'm in. And I feel like in a way I picked it because of its social standing and not because of its, you know, not because of the people in it. And then I think once I was rejected, it made me recognize that the sorority that I did end up in was really a better fit, that it had people that I got along with better, and that like it had relationships and, you know, types of people that I hadn't met yet, and it was totally important for me to, you know, meet and explore these relationships. And that was like, and I think at first, of course, I was super upset. Like I'm not gonna front, but like I wasn't upset about being rejected, because it's that initial just like, well, why? Like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And I think it's not, it's like, I think what really I just had to take advantage of was like, it's not my fault. I didn't do anything. I think a lot of times it's like, no, it's their loss. And like, yeah, in a way it is. Like, you should have that self-value that, you know, you deserve better in that sense. But also at the same time, it's like when a door closes, a window opens. Like, you should just, you know, I kind of just went head first into this group of girls, and like I just really ended up getting along with so many of them. And then I realized that it probably was a better fit, that I am really happy with them, and that like it's just, I'm really happy with like the people that I've met and the girls in my pledge class. And it's
awesome.
weird.
That's totally
Yeah,
awesome.
it's awesome. It's totally awesome. But
So,
also at the same time, like I don't want my sorority to define me.
well, it
And I think
sounds like
that's
you
what
don't
ends up
want
happening.
anything to define you. Like,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I love that you're just open. Like, you know, my art doesn't define me. My friends don't define me. My sorority doesn't. I define me. Like, I decide.
Yeah, and I
who
think
I
that's important, having like a sense of self. I mean, I'm lucky that that's something that I really try and recognize. And for some people, it takes a little bit more. But yeah, I think that a lot, you know, you are so multifaceted, and that letting yourself, like, just letting something that you do speak for you, just, you know, you're so much more than that. Like, why do that? Like, you're selling yourself short in a sense,
Well,
because you have so much more to offer.
isn't that, you're multifaceted? I love that you say that. Isn't that what college is all about, right? It's about exploring all the different facets of oneself and
Yeah.
trying lots of different things on to see, like, it's sort of like Cinderella and the slipper, like which one fits the best. And I get to
Totally.
I get to try this one on, and oh, it's nice, but it's not quite right. And then maybe I want 10 pair of shoes, maybe. So that's what college is all about. And this time in your life is all about exploring and tasting and trying things on and getting out there and figuring out what most resonates with me. And that's super exciting. I wish I can go back and do the whole thing all over. So
Yeah,
I want to, gosh, I want to keep talking to you, and I need to close. And I'm going to ask you a couple of ending questions here.
of course.
So the first one is, what advice, since we're talking about sorority and fraternity and Greek life, what advice would you give to incoming freshmen around Greek life? What's one good piece of advice for them? To rush, not to rush.
So keeping an open mind is so important. I had no desire. I have been against Greek life most of my life. I used to think it was so toxic that it was just like it was just like for women hating, like pitted people against each other, that it like taught you to validate yourself on appearance only, and like superficial, blah blah blah. But my mom was part of Greek life, and she was just like, just try it, just rush, because in the long run you can rush and not join it. So I rushed.
You have the option.
Yeah, so you like, as long as you have the option to try it, and if you are on the fence, just rush. That was just basically is what I'd say. It's like, if you're on the fence, just rush, because you may find a group of people that you totally like, or you may go through it and be like, wow, this is awful. I never want to do this in my life. Or because I ended up talking, I mean, this was just like my experience thing, but I ended up talking to girls about some crazy stuff within, like, when I was at Rush. I met one girl who's a beekeeper. She started the Cornell Beekeeping Club, and she just like, that was crazy. I talked to one girl about like the prison system. I talked to another girl just about, like, I met like so many inspiring people. This one girl told me about, like, she helped with like a spine surgery during an internship, and like she wants to do orthopedic surgery, and like it was just, you meet so many interesting people, and in the long run, if you don't even want to join a house, it was just like the experience of like meeting people who are different from you. And like, that was like, I thought that was really great. And I think also in a sense, it teaches you that like, you know, the dangers of superficialness, like you can go through it and just like be like, hey, okay, this sucks. And then being able to separate yourself from that is like a feat on its own.
Yeah, don't
like you
its cover.
Yeah, totally. Like if you go into it and you recognize that it's not for you, then you learn something about yourself in the process anyway.
Yeah.
So I would just say, if you're on the fence, just rush, just try it. And if you don't like it, don't do it.
Yeah.
And
well, if you don't like it, I think, like, you know, if you don't like something, don't do it is such a like basic but awesome piece of advice. If you don't like it, don't do it. Period. In anything, like in any part of your experience, if there's something going on and it doesn't feel right and you don't like it, just don't do it. Don't do anything out of obligation.
Yeah, because in the long run, this is about your social life. You're doing this for yourself. So don't force yourself into anything that you're not comfortable doing. It seems hard, especially in schools, that like Greek life is like pervasive and it rules social life. But if you really aren't comfortable, then it's not worth it. You'll find, I'm sure, like 100%, you'll find a community that you will vibe with more in Greek life. And it just takes that bravery to be like, especially in schools where it's really big, to be like, it's not my thing.
I think it's really courageous to go against what most people are doing too. But if that's right for you.
So brave. Are you kidding me? Peer pressure is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, people act like it's just so easy to just deflect, but it's so, I think especially with social media now, it's just peer pressure is just everywhere. So, and not even in the sense of like, I feel like peer pressure is only talked about like with regards to like drugs and drinking and like risk behaviors, but I think it's social, just it's social thing in general, just like the way people and media affects your social interactions, like, and just being able to stay true to how you feel is just so difficult now. Well, just at least being conscious of it is important.
Being conscious and being aware is the single most important thing as you navigate this time in your life, I think. And with social media in your face and homework and your parents and everyone else's voices coming at you, how is it that you stay close to like your own voice? I think that's the biggest trick, and figuring that out is the game of life, actually, because as adults, we're still dealing with that.
One of the things I really loved about this episode with Emery is this reminder to trust. You know, we're always walking around trying to control our experience, trying to make things happen. And this is important. It's important to put effort towards the things you want. But along with that effort, we need to learn to trust. We need to trust the universe, trust the circumstances, trust that we're always being pointed in the right direction. So in Emery's case, when she had this big idea about belonging to this particular sorority because of its social standing and she didn't get in, she got gently guided to just the right place. I know that we like to think that we know what's best for ourselves, but if we just let go a little and trust, I believe we always end up in the perfect place. So whether or not you choose to rush or be part of Greek life or whatever community you are choosing through your college experience, follow your heart and trust that it's exactly the right thing for you, no matter what. All right, good luck, have fun, and remember, stay true to you. Thanks for listening to University. If you liked what you heard, I'd be absolutely thrilled for you to share with a friend, and equally grateful for you to pop over and rate and review on iTunes. It really helps. You can find more information and stay in touch over at university.u on Instagram or at University on Facebook. I'll look forward to seeing you there. For more information, email me at annemarie.university@gmail.com or click the link in the show notes below.